I'm a little bit worried about Josh's new guitar day. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. He had contacted me about 2 months ago looking to get this new Sweetwater Exclusive guitar. And just a couple of days ago, we reviewed their 3-pickup Black Beauty, which was an awesome guitar if you like those specs. But it was ridiculously heavy, and that was just the average. And I had requested the lightest unit that they had, but I don't know. He was hoping it would fall within the 8 to 9 pound range, and I'm a little bit worried to pull this thing out of the case because just like the 3-pickup ones, the average on this last batch for the Sweetwater Exclusive customs has been like 10.5 pounds, all the way up to 11.5. Let's see. Uh-oh. It's certainly not 11, but I think it's going to be like 10. Let's see. Yeah, 10 pounds, 13.4. I don't know if this will become his guitar or not. Because initially, tonight's episode was going to be a little bit extra fun because he didn't like the 490 pickup in the neck position. We were going to install this cool Phat Cat, which is like a P90 pickup that's humbucker sized. But I'm not going to do that until I get his confirmation if he's okay with the weight. Because he was joking in his first email that, oh, as long as it's not 10 pounds, it'll be okay. Yeah, sorry, we almost broke that by a pound, but it was literally the lightest one that they had in this batch. But it's here. We might as well review it. So, Sweetwater Exclusive finish. What is different this time with the Inspired by Gibson Custom Shop? Well, you get the Cobra Burst hue. It appears that they went for that same dulled down gloss, so that is different from the black and white custom. But we get some sort of a quilt maple top. And I've got to say, not really liking that veneer. It does not move at all. Some quilts are like that though. Just keep that in mind if you're interested in one of these. Certainly looks cool when you're photographing it, but if you like the chatoyant dancing of the wood grain and flame, I'm not sure if this series is going to be right for you or not. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still some light movement. It's not a photo veneer by any means. That's just how many of heavy quilt tops are, and not having the full gloss finish isn't helping it either. But it looks really cool, especially because there's no premium on this at all. It's the same price as the gloss black and white ones. I would have loved to have seen like their exclusive sugar bucker pickups in here, or the custom buckers, but nah, it's just the regular 490R, 498T. And we've got the straight up black back. And as far as the Cobra Burst color, it really pales in comparison to the original Cobra Burst that we had just recently documented, but it gets you a similar flavor. But other than the guitar, for the price, you get the case. It's the same one as last time. Yellow interior, black exterior. They're pretty nice cases, all things considered, for an Epiphone. And inside, we just get some basic stuff, like our Epiphone sticker and some manuals, truss rod tool, and case keys. So first impressions, outside of the exorbitant weight that they must have spec'd them out this way. That's the only thing I can understand, because the other regular Epiphone inspired by Gibsons, they're the regular weights. So perhaps heavy weight is something that they asked for, because a lot of Epiphones have been breaking in transit lately, especially at the neck. So I wonder if this is an overall change for Epiphone to get stronger woods, or something that the dealer specifically spec'd out. But first impressions here, feels like the first ones. Maybe not the best deal financially out of the Inspired by Gibson Custom Shop range, but it does look really nice. So let's go ahead and throw this one onto the workbench to take an individual look at its parts and specs, and then we'll get to a playing sample. We'll start off by verifying our pickups. Sure enough, Gibson USA 490R in the neck with the complementary 498T in the bridge. They're a pretty standard rock style pickup. Bridge reads 13.8 K ohms, neck position 7.76, and then they play together at 496. Something nice about this example though is we have a transparent finish so we can actually see the woods. We can very clearly see how thick the maple top is, but typically when Epiphone does a beautiful guitar like this, it's a piece of beautiful wood like this that's cut really thin into these veneer sheets that they put over top of a plain maple. So even though this looks like a two-piece maple top, it's likely a two-piece decorative veneer over a multi-piece maple cap. Although, to be fair, in the cavities, I don't actually see any seam lines, but that could just mean 3 pieces. But I can at least confirm for you that the center seam does not line up. So that helps confirm the veneer use as well. But another interesting thing I found, look at the color difference between the neck and the body's mahogany. The neck is that traditional, really dark mahogany, whereas the body is a little bit lighter. Reminds me of modern era Gibson and early 2000s Gibson. But that is indeed a long neck tenon, so that's a nice spec. And straight on, our bridge pickup cavity has our usual QR code, which also has our serial number on it. And the model is Les Paul Custom Cobra Burst. I'm happy to say I don't see any misdrilled holes on this Epi. Now we can move on to our bridge and tailpiece. It's your regular Epiphone style lock tone for your bridge. Unlike the 3 pickup Black Beauty, this one did not get upgraded. It has your regular slotted style screws. And then I didn't realize this either. The whole Gibson branded tailpiece for the 3 pickup version was another special feature because it is a specific year reissue. That's when they use that on the IBGC models. This is just a regular custom within it, so they utilize the Epiphone Locktone series. I'm sorry if I don't seem as excited for this review as that one, but I'm recording this one the day after, and it's just like, man, that 3 pickup one, it just has so much value smacked into it. If you can love the neck profile and the weight, it really is one of the best deals Epiphone has. And that's not to say that this is a bad guitar, especially if you were looking for something just a little bit more fancy. However, just like the Black Beauty custom, it has that eggshell finish to it. So when you get it in the light, you can see like some bumps within the finish. It's similar to Orange Peel, but I don't think it's a buffing error on Epiphone's factory part. I think it's just how this finish is. But it gives you that nice dulled down sheen, and fingerprints don't stick to this as much. And when they do, they're not as noticeable as a full gloss. I would have liked to have seen these with chrome hardware and shipped without a pickguard. I think this looks good, even for a perimeter burst. The only finish flaw that I'm currently seeing is right there in the corner. There was a little bit of a contamination, so you got something under the finish right there. Now you might not think that's a huge deal, but that is a point that could get caught with your nail and slightly chip the finish eventually. Now, this one also has the 4-ply wide beveled edge pickguard. If you wanted to rock it without it, just keep in mind you'll have this large hole and the guard does rest against the finish, so it kind of scuffs it. If you're wondering what all these deep scratches and gouges are, this has a protective film over it, so you can remove that and make it look new. As far as our knobs, they're your regular speed style. You don't have any thumb pointers on them. And it's your bridge volume tone, neck volume tone, regular stuff. And we have our usual 7-ply binding. And if you're curious if this one has that same roughness around the binding edge, I don't feel it as much as that last one. There's a little bit, but not a lot. Let's feel the cutaway area. I would say this one's good. Maybe a little bit right here and right there. Moving on from our mahogany body, maple top and 2-piece maple veneer, we've got that 1-piece mahogany neck. That's a premium spec you pay for on the IBGCs, and some sort of an ebony fretboard. Now, I left this one alone so you guys can see how it comes stock from the factory. This is what I was talking about in the last episode. There's typically like black gunk on it. This will clean off, but just something to expect straight out of the box. The wood grain on this one is a little bit lesser than the last, but it definitely appears to have been dyed a very even color. But here's another slightly problematic area. You can see that black gunk is caught up on our frets. That makes them feel not as good, and the polish out of the factory, not as nice on this. But again, you can wipe that down real quick, and then it looks nice. Because we still have our real mother of pearl inlays, which is something that I love that Epiphone is doing now. Makes their guitars look a little bit nicer in my opinion. But the neck on this one is much more manageable for the average guy. 1.69 inches at the nut, a little under 210 at the 12th, 0.875 first fret neck depth, 1.02 by the 12th. It just feels so much slimmer in this area. Now don't get me wrong, it's still classified as like an in-between 50s, like Gibson USA 50s style neck. It's got some heft to it. It's not the skinniest neck in the world. Here's a look at that neck profile at the 1st fret and the 12th fret. Just a rounded C. But it feels like nothing as compared to that big one from yesterday. So 24 3/4 inch scale and confirming the 12-inch fretboard radius. And now we've got our headstock. So this one does not have tinted lacquer. Whether you view that as a good or a bad thing, I'll let you decide. But you've got your regular mother of pearl inlays here. However, just like the last one, multi-pieced. Don't look at it and think, oh no, it's cracked, I need to send it back. They just use multiple pieces of pearl in order to make up those triangles and rectangles. They do the same thing for the Epiphone logo. Some are just more obvious than others. Moving on to the backside, more of the same. We've got our Epiphone inspired by Gibson custom medallion on the back. That is not a sticker. You cannot remove that. So let's just say, ugh. It looks like I already swapped the pickups, but I didn't. That solder work is awful looking for factory original. Usually I'm used to seeing, nice thick solder blobs like that out of Epiphone. I mean, those just barely even look on there. Almost like they made these wrong and had to put different pickups in at one point in time. And you've got your yellow capacitors. Otherwise, they're CTS 500K pots. The rest of the wiring looks fine. It's just the attachment of the pickups. And the grand scheme of things, does that matter? No, but hey, we're doing a review. I'm going to say what I see. Strap buttons in our regular positions. And as far as contaminations on the back, I did not personally see any. It's just our regular eggshell finish back here with our thin binding in the cutaway. And it matches the rest of the ebony finish back here. So I guess in many ways, it's kind of like the ebony Les Paul Custom, except for with the VOS-like finish treatment and a slightly fancier top. And now moving up the backside of the neck, has the same thing that we were talking about last time, how the binding goes underneath the nut. Our handcrafted in China sticker is slightly peeling on the edge there. And now this time we've got the Golden Grover tuners, and our serial number dates that to the 8th month of 2025. I forgot to talk about this last time. That's just the inspired by Gibson custom shop stamping that they put on there along with the serial number. For a short period of time, they did the IBGC branding, but it's just this, but without Epiphone Gibson custom inspired by done up in the center. It's that whole triple diamond made out of a double diamond. I suppose it looks like a bow tie once you take everything out. And nope, it still hasn't changed weight much. 10 pounds, 13.7 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how this unit sounds. It's kind of looking like a silver burst in the camera now. As far as the neck, now that I have it on a strap, it actually is quite chunky. However, it's just a little bit flatter on the back than that 3 pickup. So a little bit more manageable depending on your situation. It doesn't have like an abrupt shoulder. It's still a C shape in that aspect, not D. But let's go ahead and grab these tones with our stock pickups. Normally, I like the 490R 498T set. But it's not really doing anything for me on this guitar. Like when you hit that chord, you need to hear more of that bang, and this guitar doesn't have that. I'm also noticing our B string. You hear how it's not clear like the E? There's like a sitar-like buzz. It's either the nut or the saddle. Because it seems to disappear once you fret. This thing is constantly fighting me on the tuning department too. So let's see if it sounds better with some distortion. Well, after playing it, I can't say I was all that impressed. It sounded pretty good through the recording though, but ultimately the nut and finish issue superseded any potential weight issues that my new guitar dayer might have had with this one. So after contacting him, we decided it would be best to request a replacement on this unit before I go making any modifications. So here is our brand new one. I would say the quilt top looks just as good, if not better, but thankfully, the weight is right where we wanted it to be. I know it doesn't seem that much lighter, but my goodness, this one just feels so much better. Now, as far as the setup out of the box, it was very, very poor. I did my best to dial it in for him, straightened out the truss rod and a few other things. But it doesn't seem like this one has the nut issue, so setup things can eventually be done and is a little bit easier to address than nut issues. So I went ahead, took out the 490R, put his Phat Cat in there. Everything went through without a hitch as far as that's concerned, so let's go ahead and hear some of these tones just for fun. Yep, sounds like I put it in right to me. That's really full sounding. It just sounds like a humbucker to me though. Okay, I'm starting to get some of that P90 tone out of it. Just a bit more bright. Let's test the bridge pickup on this one. Does it have the spank? A little better, but how do those play together? So there we go, the Sweetwater Exclusive Cobra Burst Epiphone Les Paul Custom. My bad, forgot to hit the recording. But ultimately, I've got to say, this is not my favorite new Epiphone that's ever been released. I mean, this one straight out of the box, it wasn't perfect either, but it just seems we can't get that good of luck on this particular run. I've been able to dial it in enough that I think the new Guitar Dayer will be happy. And hey, we've got his Phat Cat properly installed in there. And I thought it sounded pretty good. Now you might also think, what's the point of buying the Gibson already upgraded one if you're just going to upgrade the pickups anyways? I don't know, maybe he wants the pickup for something else. Or he just prefers that P94 style in the neck. It definitely had a little bit more chime to it. But I'm going to go ahead and get this one packed up. Hopefully this helps you make an informed decision whether one of these is right for you or not. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow on the next one. Take care.